Okay, real talk. Are you constantly scrambling, trying to figure out what to post on Instagram only to end up posting something random and hoping it somehow brings in sales? I have totally been there. As a busy mom running a business, homeschooling my kids, content planning felt like just one more thing on my plate until I found a system that actually worked. That is why I put together my free 5-day challenge, Plan It, Post It, Profit. In just a few minutes a day, you can learn how to create content with strategy. So you're not just posting to post, but you're actually building momentum and connection that leads to actual sales from your Instagram content without being glued to your phone. And the best part, in just 10 minutes a day for 5 days, you will have an entire month of content planned following my signature framework, the 5 steps to sales on Instagram strategy. So if you're ready to ditch the content overwhelm and have a content plan so you know exactly what to post to get sales, head to the link in the show notes to join Plan It, Post It, Profit. You will be so glad you did. Hello and welcome back to Mompreneur Mastery, Simple Instagram Strategies for Busy Moms. I am your host, Sydney O'Brien, and today is an episode I'm really excited to share with you because it's an interview episode with Jessica Howard. Jessica is a marketing strategy coach, an e-commerce expert, and a mom of 2 who is here to help you stop guessing and start growing using the data you already have. If you've ever wondered which marketing metrics actually matter and which are just noise that you can completely ignore, this episode will change the way you look at your business. Get ready to ditch the vanity metrics, which you know I'm all for, and finally focus on what is really driving your revenue. Welcome to the Mompreneur Mastery Podcast, where we share actionable Instagram strategies that fit into a busy mom's schedule so that you can get more engagement, more leads, and more sales in less time. I'm Sydney O'Brien, an Instagram strategist who started my business with 3 kids under 5 and found a way to do it without sacrificing quality time with my family and only working 2 hours a day. I love helping other mom business owners find that seemingly impossible mom work-life balance instead of spending too much time creating content that isn't getting them the results they want. If you're an overwhelmed but very ambitious business owner and you want to strategize the heck out of your Instagram account so that you can save time and make more sales, you're in the right place. Can you share a bit about your journey into the work you do now and just your background?
Yeah, sure. So I'm Jessica Howard. I am the owner, founder, CEO, whatever you want to call it, of 2PM Marketing. And I've been in marketing for 15 plus years. And after my first son was born 6 years ago, I started freelancing, and specifically in the e-commerce space, helping e-commerce stores design their site, write copy for their site, landing pages, emails, ads, any kind of marketing that an e-commerce store should do. And a couple years after doing that, and after my second son was born, I started my own business and started coaching clients, not just in what to do, but why they should do it, and the importance of having a data-driven marketing strategy, because I found that a lot of e-commerce owners, moms who are also entrepreneurs in e-commerce stores were doing a lot of things because they felt like they should, and it wasn't paying off for them.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of why I decided to go this route. And I came up with 2PM marketing because people always ask, because as you know, having kids, you have no time, but I knew I could schedule a meeting at 2 p.m. when my oldest was taking a nap.
That makes a lot of sense. Such a great name choice. I really miss when my kids would nap and I could get more done.
Right. And you knew, okay, I have at least an hour and a half or 2 hours to get something done.
Yeah, and especially at that same time every day, made it so much more easy to schedule things.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
How has being a mom and a business owner shaped the way you run your business and the way you work with clients?
I think the biggest thing is I get to the point a lot faster, because even just starting this call, it was like, okay, we have a finite amount of time, let's get to it.
Yeah.
And I think that's the only way you can do it as a mom. I found I'm more productive and that I can get a lot more done in a short amount of time, just as a mom in general. And in terms of running a business, I utilize a lot of weekend chunks when my husband's home and not working. And it's changed my framework of what success looks like the most, I would say. As a business owner and a mom, success to me is that I have work that I'm passionate about, but that I'm also prioritizing my kids first. They're sick, as every child on the planet Earth has been sick this month. Like, it's like, okay, I can reschedule my day and it's not the end of the world, and I'm not truly disappointing anyone, if that makes sense, because it's so fluid that I can do a lot after they go to bed and still meet my deadlines.
Yeah, I was talking with someone about that the other day, how your measure of success changes and how the like flexibility and adaptability is like its own success, having that being a parent, especially if you're like the default parent, the one that has to be there for the sick days and all of that, and taking them to appointments and stuff. Being able to do that is a game changer.
Exactly. And to not really have to call anybody and let them know is great. That's and also the beauty of working with moms specifically is that we all know what it's like. If you have to stop for 10 minutes to feed a crying baby, to make a sandwich, to get a snack, whatever, change the character on the Tony's box, it's like, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
I'll be here. And then in 10 minutes, I'll be doing the same thing.
Yeah, that is very nice for people to just understand. I do just Instagram marketing and tracking metrics there. I know a lot of people pay attention to like the wrong metrics as business owners specifically. Are there metrics you see people paying attention to where they kind of shouldn't be?
Totally. I mean, we all fall into that vanity metric. This post got 6 likes. This post got 15 likes, so I should do more of what got the 15 likes. Yes and no. You should really be paying attention to what's getting the most engagement, and whether that's leaving a comment, getting a DM if you're in the service industry, what kind of conversion you're getting from, let's say you want to do a discovery call. What kind of posts are getting you the most discovery calls?
Yeah.
Would be a metric I would be interested in. And that's specifically for social media, focusing on engagement, not just likes. And don't worry about follower count. Like, if you have 100 followers, but 30 are always interacting with you, that's huge.
Yeah, I say that a lot. Like, it's not having a certain amount of followers, it's having like the right followers. Because if they're not engaging, if they're not buying now, having more followers isn't the answer to helping your business. Yeah.
Exactly. Especially from an e-commerce perspective, like, you could have 300 followers and they're all your friends and family, but they're not if they're not going to buy from you, then that's just nice to see, I guess.
Right. Like, love the support. It's great, but not great business wise. Yeah. If someone is just starting out and feeling overwhelmed by like just looking at all the numbers and all the different data, what is one metric that you think they should focus on first?
Oh, one metric. So I'm going to say one metric from your Shopify store would be number one, I would say your conversion rate. And that's probably across Shopify, email, ads, and social media, because that's telling you how many people have interacted with your store, maybe even added to cart and then purchased. Because if you're seeing a really high number, and for reference, a really high number is anything over 2.5%, 3%. So think about that. It takes a lot of people to get to your store to get them to buy. So if you're getting thousands and thousands of traffic, but your conversion rate is 1%, that would be something I would look at. Is it you're looking at shipping costs, looking at your checkout process? Is it too complicated? Is it maybe people aren't even staying on your site long enough to convert? I would focus on the conversion rate as a barometer of success or not. And then you can dig into average order value, or with another one that I like, and for emails to get into things like open rates. That's kind of like a like rate. Open rate's great. Okay, they opened it. Did they click it? Focus on the number of clicks.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. And I'm so glad you mentioned the average conversion rate for like the store, because I feel like I see so much in marketing where it's like people bragging about these huge numbers, but 2.5% isn't like a ton, but it's normal. So you're probably doing it better than you think you are.
Yes, absolutely. And it's easy, you hear people like, I am a six-figure store, online store. And it's like, well, also, what's your profit margin?
Right.
Like, you can have a huge revenue store, but you are spending $90,000, so you only made 10. Like, that's not that.
Right. Yeah. Very important things to keep in mind here.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, when online stores specifically, are there any marketing metrics you think people kind of obsess over but don't actually matter that much?
Traffic.
Mm,
Traffic. The number of how many people are on your site, I think, is one that is also like, I just need more eyeballs, more eyeballs, more eyeballs, which is true. But going back to the conversion rate conversation, if you are seeing a low conversion rate, you're still going to have a low conversion rate, maybe even lower if you're getting more eyeballs on it. So I would not worry too much about the traffic sites so much. I would get into everything else.
that's a really good point. And I think that it's similar to Instagram in that, like, you shouldn't have a goal of like going viral or getting a ton of reach. Your goal should be that conversion, especially on for Instagram specifically. If you're trying to go viral and you're doing it by like hopping on random trends, and if it does go viral, but it's in like the wrong niche or something, doesn't matter at all.
Exactly. Like, I really like those, I'm a 36-year-old mom and I'm not ashamed to admit whatever, but it's like, did that really do anything for my business?
Right. Exactly.
People know me a little better, maybe.
And especially like for mom business owners, we don't have time to waste on things that are not actually helping.
Right. Exactly. Which is why what you're teaching and Instagram, hopping on these trends, it's a lot of time to make these reels. And if they don't work, stop doing it. And I like looking at the big picture of the data, because you could be spending so much money on ads and it's getting in front of a lot of people. Like, I had a customer who had a really amazing impressions rate for the Cyber Monday ad that they did, like hundreds of thousands
Wow.
of impressions, which is a lot.
Mhm.
5 people bought.
Mhm. It's like kind of goes back to that conversion, right?
Exactly. It's like, and it was hundreds of dollars. It's like, well, your return was 1%. So, like, again, you hear, and I deal with this a lot. It's like, you hear these big gurus in quotes, saying you have to do these ads, you have to do these ads. And maybe you don't. It doesn't work for you. You're kind of like, I've been gluten free for almost 3 years. And it's like, I love gluten. Gluten does not work with me.
Yeah.
And I just need to accept that and move on.
That's valid.
Same kind of valid. Yeah.
Can you think of a time tracking like the right data totally changed the game for either you or a client?
Tracking email data is life-changing for an e-commerce brand, especially if they haven't been doing it very long and just seeing the revenue that comes in.
Mm-hmm.
So as an example, I have she's an online boutique. She didn't do emails at all. She was selling in like Facebook groups and Facebook Lives. And I was telling her, you need to get an email list because it's just an additional stream of income. And we started sending, I think, bi-weekly emails, so 2 emails a week. And she was getting hundreds of dollars in revenue. And we're talking a click conversion rate of 10, 12%.
Oh, wow.
So even just And that was just looking at her marketing and being like, you're not doing this, do it. And then we were tracking it and being like, oh, this is paying off. And then we started doing automated flows, a welcome flow when they join your newsletter, or if they, after they buy something, going into a nurturing post-purchase flow, and then a browser or a cart abandonment email flow. Looking at the cart abandonment email, it wasn't working. It just, people were clicking on it. They were sort of interested, but then they weren't buying it again. So we implemented instead of like, oh, you left this in your cart, take a look at it, your cart's expiring. We added a discount to it. Just, I think it was 15%. People started buying it.
Wow, yeah.
And now she was still earning money, not as much money, but it was still a way to get those customers to buy. And then the cool part is to then see of those customers who kept coming back. Mm-hmm. And in the long run, that 15% got you a new customer, which is something to consider too.
Yeah. Do you have a system set up for like how often you check your metrics?
Well, I recommend weekly because it's enough to keep a pulse on it and to make adjustments and tweaks as you go. And I had created a analytics playbook that's free. Anybody can download it, and it just has everything that you should track by month, or, it's by month. So then you break it up by week, and then you can see what's working and what's not. The problem with doing it monthly is that's not enough pivot time. Like, to let something go, you need to let something go for at least 2 weeks to see if it's working. Don't hit send and then 3 hours later be like, it's not working, because that's not enough time.
Right.
But giving it 2 weeks and then seeing, well, okay, people are liking this subject line more, and you're testing your emails. So just looking at those all the time and then adjusting for the next 2 weeks. And it's just a fluid process, because otherwise you're just, closing your eyes and shooting in the dark and hoping you hit some.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I'll be able to put the link for the playbook in the show notes as well, so anyone listening can go grab that for free.
Yeah. And I do want to highlight in the playbook there, the first page is a kind of glossary that will tell you what the terms are, the term name, the definition, and how to find it. Because I think that's a big thing, especially in Meta. They're hidden and they change, and Google Analytics just changed everything. So if you're like, great, I don't know how to do this, then you're in a Google hole for a while, and that's all there too.
That is good to know, because I know like the Meta stuff, but I still get really frustrated when it changes, because I'm like, I feel like I just got used to this. Why do you have to change it?
Right? Or like one campaign, you selected all the things and then I didn't take it over to the next, like your saved preferences.
Yeah. Very annoying. It's like time I don't want to spend trying to figure it out.
I know.
Yeah. If you could give me some advice to a mom business owner to grow their brand without drowning in data, what would it be?
Ooh, without drowning in data, I would say just set aside 1 hour each week to do data. That's it. And even you could break it up. Maybe it's like Friday you do your Shopify and emails, Saturday you do Google Analytics and ads, if you have those. But start small, and then it just becomes a routine, just like anything. And I would say to start with your store analytics first and see what's working. Focus on that conversion rate. You can also, in Shopify, they have really good analytics too about how people are coming in, the sources for your traffic. So look at that and then kind of build on it. But don't launch without tracking, because then you're going to have to look backwards, and that's a lot harder.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'm really excited to that, so people can have more information on how to do that. And lastly, where can people connect with you online?
Yeah, so I'm on Instagram at 2PM Marketing. So there's 2 M's in there. And I have my own podcast. It's called Marketing for E-commerce Mompreneurs. talking all about marketing stuff, everything you should be doing and why you should be tracking it and how to build a strategy off of it. And my website's 2pmmarketing.com. And I do want to say one more thing about the not getting so bogged down in the data, because the goal of tracking your data is so that you can see what's working and what's not. Take the stuff that's not working off your plate for a little while and then keep doing what's working. And then you're building a marketing strategy that's just going to continually bring you in more sales, more traffic, more customers, and save you time.
Yeah, which is always my favorite thing, saving time.
Right?
Time.
Same.
Like,
Same. Anything that, any kind of hack I'm into.
It's like spending a ton of time making dinner for my kids and then they don't end up eating it. I hate it. And I certainly don't want that feeling to like carry over into business.
That's absolutely right. And yeah, that happens every single day. Or
Try to minimize that as much as possible.
exactly. Exactly.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for coming on. I'm so excited to share this. And I will put links for the playbook, your Instagram and website, your podcast, all of that stuff in the show notes so everyone knows how to connect with you.
Thank you so much. And I love following you on Instagram and listening to your podcast. Every episode, I'm like, she's talking to me directly. I need to do this.
That's awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much for listening to Mompreneur Mastery, simple Instagram strategy for busy moms. If you were listening to this episode and found yourself nodding along, I would love it if you would find me on Instagram and send me a message telling me your biggest takeaway. My handle is @socially.yours.strategist. And don't forget to grab your free 1 month of Conversation Starters content calendar so that you know exactly what to post to get more comments without spending hours brainstorming Instagram post ideas. You can get it at sociallyyours.biz/